What's up, everybody? We're just getting ready. I am going live on YouTube. I'm also going live in my Facebook Legacy Builders group. So if you are part of the Legacy Builders group, you got an extra benefit. Getting any downloads, any freebies, anything like that delivered into the Facebook group. So if you haven't joined yet, you can join now. So go ahead and do that because that sounds amazing. So today we're going to be doing a very special masterclass. This special masterclass it's going to be more of a workshop than anything else, because at the end of the day, I want to make sure that you have everything you need to be amazing. Everything you need to be amazing. I am pulling everything from my Business Clarity program. This is a VIP program that I have crafted and put together and have helped countless business owners launch and scale and grow their business exponentially. I'm so excited about that. And I'm excited to be here. So I want to make sure that I can see everything. It looks like I can see the comments in Facebook. I can see the comments in YouTube. Cool. So I'm going to go ahead and just minimize the screen here. I almost want to get another screen, but a part of me is like, oh, Melinda, why would you want to do that? Okay, so let's just put them side by side there. In that way, I can see both. Perfect. Yay. I love when things work. So welcome. So if you don't know me already, my name is Melinda Cologne. I am a business growth strategist. And in just the last 4 years alone, I have helped my clients win over $4.4 billion in government contracts with a win rate of 74%. But in addition to that, because I am a strategist, because I love helping people, I have also helped many entrepreneurs, many solopreneurs, many business owners who are already established hit their next revenue goal and hit exponential returns on the investment that they made into our programs. And so I want to just give this to you as a Christmas gift, an early Christmas gift, so that you can have a planned business to achieve success. But today, I really want to lean into my favorite community of starters. This masterclass, this specific workshop, if you will, is perfect for you if you're starting out and you haven't hit your first six figures. This is going to be the message that you want to lean into. You want to pull out your notebook. I also included a worksheet for you. So go ahead and download that right in the comment section of this video. We made sure to include that yesterday so that you can go ahead and follow along. Now, anybody that's watching the replay, I'm going to do my best to have timestamps in the description for YouTube and also for our Facebook group. And then Facebook group members in our Legacy Builders community, y'all are good because you're a part of the community. So any guides, any downloads, anything like that we mentioned through, or someone reaches their hand and says, hey, do you have this thing? It's going to be saved and downloaded in the Facebook group. So if you don't already in the Facebook group, you want to be a part of the Facebook group because that's where we have a lot of value for our people. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Now, if you have your worksheet open, we're going to start into step one. Now, I'm legit talking about a workshop. We're going to cut out a lot of the fat and just get into this because I want this. There should not be any excuse why you can't make money in your business, why you can't leave 9 to 5, why you can't see how you can build consistency in your business. There's no excuse. It has to happen because I'm going to give you the outline, the dateline, so that you don't have to try to figure it out yourself. I'm just going to give it to you. So step one, I'm going to follow the 3-step system. This is called the Business Clarity Consistent Cash System. The Consistent Cash System has worked, and it starts with vision. It's vision, vehicle, voice, vision. Vision is defining your purpose. It's a big part of having a successful business. There are a lot of businesses that will launch and be very successful, make millions of dollars, and it's not aligned to their purpose, and they lose it just like that because there is not a place for it in their life long term. You've ever seen someone that starts a business in a specific market, and then they no longer have that business anymore. That's happened to me. That's happened to me. One of my first products in entrepreneurship, the first time I launched something online, it was called Mask Cleaner. It was a mask cleaning product. It was a spray. And when everybody was mandated to wear these masks on their face, I thought to myself, being a germaphobe and being someone, well, not germaphobe, I'm a very clean person. And thinking to myself, I don't want to put a face mask that's been sitting at the bottom of my purse all day, back and forth. And I wear lipstick and makeup, and I would have to wear like 10 masks throughout the day. Like, that's not reasonable. It's not realistic. And then getting disposables, just costly and just throwing away money. So I thought to myself, what would be the next thing? And I created a mask cleaner. This mask cleaner came in a bottle like this. It was a little spray bottle. I also had a spray container. It was really small. It could fit in your wallet. And I launched it on Etsy. And I didn't think anybody would like it, actually, because I thought to myself, this is great for me because it was made of 90% essential oils and 10% it was isopropyl. So it was like a really simple ingredient. There was nothing complicated about it or anything like that, but it was 100% natural, really. And so I thought to myself, well, if anybody else wants it, here it is, right? Let's see what it works. Did I put a lot of money into the marketing? No. I actually didn't do any ads. I just posted it on Instagram. I think we actually still have our social media profiles. You can go look at it. And it's under Fortis Clean Mask Cleaner. And I sold out of those things. We had to do 3 batches of mask cleaners. Our labors got better and everything, but we sold out every single batch because it was at the height of the demand. Can I sell those products now? Absolutely not. How many people are wearing masks today? It's very difficult to find a large amount of people wearing masks today. So that's what I'm saying. You want to make sure that your products and your services, your business, where your products and services are going to live, are within alignment for the journey ahead, so that there's no like surprise or anything like that when there isn't a demand anymore. We can pivot, we can transition, we could repurpose that product for something else. There's different things, but specifically, I was doing that just to get my feet wet, just to get started, just to do something so that I stopped delaying. And I was surprised at the results. And I realized then that I was my own buyer. Like, I was my own buyer. We'll talk about that a little later on. So vision, defining your purpose is important. What do you want to do? You already know what you want to do. And a lot of times when I'm talking to clients, whether it's one-on-one or in my group programs, I hear the same thing over and over again. I don't know if that's going to make money. I don't know if that's going to be profitable. And I see something else. Maybe I should do something else that's profitable. From my own experience, it is harder to do something that's out of alignment with you than to do something that is. Your energy is going to be there. Your passion is going to be there. And so that is going to be more attractive to your marketplace when they see you loving what you do, right? So what is that thing? This is a part of mindset. It just really takes it up a notch. Is the reason why I hone in on this so much when it comes to mindset, because it really is stepping into your own greatness, is allowing yourself to be that amazing person now, opposed to waiting for the perfect timing. Just do it now. Just get it done now, because it's already in your mind now. I posted something on Facebook today, or maybe it was last night. And it was last night. And, just the Lord was talking to me and just telling me what I needed to hear. And I was thinking about you specifically watching this workshop. And he says that your knowledge isn't for you. It's for the people you're called to serve. And I was like blown away. I was like, absolutely. That's exactly what I've been fighting to get the clarity to understand to, and also to deliver out to people, is that everything that you know, everything that I know is actually not for us. It's for someone else. It's for the people that we're supposed to help get to accomplish the transformation, to have the journey accomplished, to get to the next step that they're being hindered by. But you already have that information. And you might think to yourself, well, this is just common knowledge. Everybody should know this, right? No, not at all. Not everybody knows this. This is why we need to take the time to actually share it. So here's me sharing it with you so that you can go further along in your journey and you're not getting stuck by all the stuff. Okay. All right. So step number 1 is SMART goals. All right. So SMART goals. I'm pulling everything from my Business Clarity VIP workbook. And in case you guys are in Business Clarity, it's page 11. The SMART goals section of the workbook. And we're going to go through a couple of prompts. So this is where you're going to want to write some things down. What does SMART stand for? Specific. The more specific you are, the more clear you are, the easier it is, the simpler it is to attain. If you just say, I want a lot of money, I want to have a successful business, what does that mean? Be very, very, very specific, detail-oriented. And the more detail-oriented you are, you'll realize a lot of the fluff, fat, the things that don't really fit into your plan just kind of get eliminated. And you can stay lean and focused on attacking and accomplishing those goals. So specific, measurable. How do you measure it? If someone says, I want a successful business, well, what does that mean? Success means 6 figures. Success means 100 million. Success means winning my first $1 million government contract. Success means, building a Facebook group. Success means a lot of different things. What does it mean to you? How do you measure that? Is it 100 people that you've helped this year? Is it 1 million people? Is it, reaching 1,000 lives? Is it downloaded? 100 downloads, whatever it is, be specific in how you measure. And then actionable. What are the action items? Like, how can I accomplish your goal? How can you accomplish this goal? And how realistic is the goal? This is one of those things where the mind comes creeping back in and tells you what you can and you cannot do based on your emotions. When you're going through the SMART goals activity, you want to make sure that you are looking at it from a logical perspective. This is not about, I don't know, because I have this going on, I have that going on, I don't know if I have this. Can you actually accomplish this? Yes or no? How do you accomplish this? How do you believe that you can accomplish it based off the resources you have? This is not about comfortability. This is about application. Is it possible? Is it probable for this outcome to exist, and how? Like, what are the steps you're working back from? Realistic. Does it seem worthwhile? Is this the right time? Is this the right time to deliver this message? Is this the right time to, publish this product or service out to the marketplace? Is this the right time to deliver this social media post, this article, this ebook, whatever it is? Is this the right time for this specific idea? Again, logical. You want to look at your data. You want to look at the research. What is the market saying? This is not what you expect or you assume it to be. It's based off what the market is saying. The market, when I say market, or if you ever hear someone say market, it just means a whole bunch of people. Just what are the people saying that you're called to serve or that are in that industry? And then timely. When? What can I do 6 months from now? What can I do 6 weeks from now? What can I do today? This is how we build out specifically, what are you doing? What are the milestones that you're accomplishing? So again, going for a business clarity, people, it's page 4 of your workbooks. I'm going to flip back to transferable skills. And so really quick, I'm just going to talk through what transferable skills are. Can I share my screen? I can. Transferable skills are things that you can do that you might have not thought that are of value to you, that are of value to someone else. Right? Are there things that you're really, really, really good at? And someone's like, oh man, you're so great at that. And you're just like, yeah, thanks. It's no big deal. Those are definitely transferable skills. Things that you're passionate about. Maybe you love videography. Maybe you love sewing. Maybe you love photography. Maybe you love dogs. Maybe you love painting, right? Write those down. Not everybody is a painter. Not everybody is a mechanic. Not everybody is a website designer, right? Just write those things down. Write them down. And in your transferable skills list, it's going to be pretty long. So you might want to just like pour a glass of wine and just like really kind of take your time to think about this. You come back, you can revisit this anytime. But the goal is to really identify all of the things that you love to do. I can say for sure that I have way more skills than I actually offer. I'm a great cook. I'm amazing at so many different things, but I don't use that as part of my business. Right? So I took my transferable skills list and I narrowed it down to something that was going to be really helpful for someone else. So if you're a designer, maybe you're a photographer and you're thinking to yourself, okay, so I have photography skills. Okay, so what else? Like, what does that mean, photography skills? Are you good at portraits? Are you good at architecture? Are you good with editing, right? Like, just kind of like go really granular to the things that you're really good at, that you actually enjoy doing and that you're good at. Even if you're not 100% confident in doing the thing, if you are steps ahead of someone else, write it down. You don't need to be masters at all, but you need to be steps ahead of someone else. Okay? So those are your transferable skills. I want to talk about skills and talents for a second. So talents, it's just in your DNA. Like you were just born with it. DNA. It's just, I am talented at dancing, singing. You're right. I'm talented at storytelling. I'm talented with, strategy, with puzzles, right? There's just something in your DNA. It just is, right? There's nothing no book that taught you that. It just was a part of who you are, right? And then skills are what you have acquired in your journey. Now we're starting to think about, well, really, who am I, right? We take the talents and we take the skills and we put them together, we marry them, and that starts to develop your unique brand, right? So that's really what it is. It's kind of weird doing this live and not having any. Oh, Ryan, you're awesome. Okay. Seeing you now live. Okay. So in case if and since in all of them, the information of our clients, then maybe could just simply mean that we are all just the channelers, essentially that in the case though, right? Yes, 100%. SMART goals, yep. Measurable, attainable, yep. Actionable, so SMART is smart, measurable. SMART is specific, measurable, actionable, realistic, and timely. SMART goals, again, is specific, measurable, actionable, realistic, and timely. Cool. Thank you so much. Surprisingly, I cannot think on this moment. Anyone complimenting me specifically on being really amazing at any certain skill, though. So that's what's really cool about us, about like human race. Like there's no one like you. I did this exercise in one of my master classes called Consistent Cash Flow. And I said, everybody, look at your hands. Look at your hands. Just take a minute and look at your hands. Nobody's hand, not even your brothers, your parents, nobody has ever lived has the exact same lines in the exact same spot. You are uniquely made. So your talents are going to be unique to you. Your skills and your skill set is going to be unique to you. And so there won't be anybody, just like your hand, that will look or be like you. They might be selling similar things, but the experience is always going to be different. That's why there's no competition. That is why there's no competition. If there was competition, then everybody, or at least there would at least be one doppelganger that not only would look like me, but would have the same lines. Even doppelgangers, even twins, They don't have the same lines on their hand. So that's how we know that. Yes, I see you. I see you. Thank you so much. Okay, you are uniquely made indeed. Indubitably. Awesome. Okay, so we've covered SMART goals, and then we talked about transferable skills. Now, before I go any further, I want to just make sure that this is being digested, because we covered quite a lot in just 12 minutes. So I want to make sure that this is sticking, okay? It is a funny word. It is a funny doppelganger. I think the first time I heard doppelganger before, it was don't judge, but I was watching oh my gosh, Vampire Diaries. The stories are great. That's why I was watching it. I wasn't watching it for anything else. The stories are great. And then I kept thinking to myself, I was in my 20s or 30s when I was watching. I was in my 30s when I was watching it, and I thought to myself, this was made for teenagers. There's no way. I don't know, just old soul. I'm like, this is way too advanced for me, let alone teenagers. Doppelganger. So SMART goals. Why is it important to start with SMART goals? Well, we want to know how we're crafting, what map are we using to get to our destination. It's not good enough to know, like, oh, I'm just going to post social media posts or content, or I'm going to have a blog, or I'm just going to have an email list. Like, what are you delivering? Like, what's the end goal? People want to be a part of the journey. You know, it's one of the reasons why I created Legacy Builders as a Facebook group, because I knew for myself, I wanted to be surrounded by like-minded individuals who were just not about making money, but were about leaving a legacy. They were just like, this is who we are. And there's a different energy, there's a different mindset when you're around people who are in alignment with that. Trust me, I've been in arenas, and it's just not the same. And so you want to be in places where it matters and matches you. So SMART goals is about really just kind of, you already know most of the information that you're putting in your goals. You might just need to take a little bit of time to really dig deep and think about it. But this is a part of creativity. SMART goals doesn't limit you. SMART goals actually frees you from your mind. How many of you had an idea, right? And you're thinking about the idea, you're thinking about it, and 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 you're not doing anything with it. The Bible says, faith without works is dead. And so we don't want to just like think about things. We don't want to just like plan on doing something. We just want to take action and do it, because there will be the perfect time. So that is a part of your goals. It's like, what is the timing of this? Something else, and I'm going to mention again later on when we get into vehicle, is whether or not you have a demand for the product or service you're selling. I was on a strategy call with a business clarity client, and we were working on her high ticket offer. And I said, we're doing our research, and she was like, I was looking online and everybody had what I was looking to offer, so I don't know what to offer. And I said, what are you talking about? I was like, no. I said, that's the wrong message. No, absolutely. You want to look for people who are selling exactly what you're selling. It'll never be like, the delivery will never be like yours, right? Your delivery is completely unique to you. But what are people buying right now? That's the reason why there's a CVS here in the US. There's a drugstore and a competitor drugstore across the street, CVS and a Walgreens or a Duane Reade. Or if you go to Target and Walmart, they're like usually like right across the street from each other. They're competitors. They're competitors selling the exact same things. Why? Because they know that there's different markets for what they sell. And it's so saturated that there's more than enough for them. So don't stray away from the idea of something that already exists in the marketplace. In fact, that is a clue. That's a great idea. And that potentially, that is a very profitable one. So goals, like think about what your business is, think about whether or not there are people in the market doing and selling what you're already doing right now or thinking about doing. It's a really good way to validate yourself. You're on the right track. Okay. Yeah, I watched it and then I got into like, what's the other one? The trilogy. And yeah, it was a whole season of life. I was reading the books. I mean, just, yeah, I was totally engulfed. It was during, I guess you can call it sci-fi, right? Because it's, it's science fiction, but oh, you get it. So it's a fiction stuff. All right, step number 3 is, what is your business idea? So an example is a coach service for career transitions. Now we're still talking about vision, and write it down, make it plain. You want to make sure that in your notebook, you have a notebook, or this is a remarkable or a notebook or something like that. Oops. Something you can write all of this down and get it clear. And you're not going to use words like one day, maybe one day, someday. No, I am going to have a successful business. I am going to deliver excellent results for my clients. I am going to have transformational experiences for them, right? So really, really specific. But number 3 is, what is your business idea? An example is coaching service for career transitions, or it could be, executive leadership. It could be import export trucking, excuse me. It could be so many different things. Like, what is your business idea? And this is your first step to really making it real, or at least taking it to the next step. So the best way, Peter Drucker says that the best way to predict the future is to create it. The best way to predict the future is to create it. Nothing in the future exists. It doesn't exist yet. It's just like if you've ever had a bad thought, right? We're really great at this. This is habitual. And this is, obviously subconscious, that we need a break so that we can allow ourselves to experience more abundance. But we habitually do. This is what most people do. Is we think about all the negative things that could potentially happen. Oh my gosh, this might happen, and this might happen, this might happen, this might happen. Do you know that's creating the future? Do you know that activity is creating the future? So crazy, right? So if the future doesn't exist, then whatever you say will be, it'll be. You actually have to believe it, but it'll be. So instead of believing all the negative, why don't we believe the things that we actually will actually serve us, will actually provide value to us? Ryan says, I am happy to be delivering wonderful results for my clients. Affirmed. Absolutely. You're on fire. You're on fire, brother. So what is your business idea? Put it down, write it down, and make it clean. Write it down and make it plain. Excuse me. Number 4, what problem does your business solve? What problem does your business solve? I was meeting with a mentor over a year ago, and we met at a library. And I was sitting with her, and she was just she was in awe of my brain. She was like, your brain is amazing. I said, thank you. And I said, this is all the things that I want to do. And I got, it was a beautiful mind moment. Got the dry erase, and I was just like writing on the board and all these lines and numbers and then data. It was just all over the thing. That's how my brain works. I'm a golden brain, so I think data and I think creative at the same time. So I'm like writing everything out, pop, 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 pop. And she's like, okay, but like, what do you solve? Like, what's the problem you solve? I could tell her about the solution, but it was hard for me to understand the problem that I was solving. So if you're a photographer, if you're a mindset coach, What is the problem that you're solving? Yeah, that's when you're saying like you're a photographer. I provide great photography. I provide great, deliver still shots of real things, right? Well, that's a really good slogan. So taking something that you're saying, you're like, I'm able to serve this. This is great. But if I can be a little tough, that's vanilla. And I was doing that for a really long time. Up till last year, I was just like, oh, I never even thought about the problem. I feel like it's a no-brainer. Duh. I'm a strategist. I'm in government contracting. I help people grow their business. That's a no duh. Like, I don't need to really think about that too hard. And she's like, but you're not really aligned to the problem. So you could have more success if you just find out what the problem was. And I said, oh, that's true. So it led me to develop a strategy to come up with helping myself get out of that, out of that, but also to figure out what is the solution that I'm actually like solving? Like, what's the problem that I'm solving when somebody comes to me? So I call this the pearl method. So think of a string of pearls. The pearl method, and we'll talk a little bit about this later on when we get to voice, but the pearl method is really, really powerful. Imagine a string of pearls and 5 pearls, and you're the pearl in the middle. There are steps before you, and then there are steps after you. Now, what happens is that usually it's not a linear journey for most people, right? Like, we see squirrels and shiny objects all over the place. We want to believe that that's a perfect line. We want to help people get to their transformational experience faster, but sometimes there's detours, right? So the pearl method is allowing you to stack from your position. It's like creating where you are. What's the solution that you provide? And then taking a step further behind and after you. What are the solutions that those companies, those businesses provide? What are those solutions? This can help you in so many ways, but it helped me specifically find out what the problem I was solving. There is this theory that for every problem, there's a new solution. And for every solution, there's a new problem. That is a writer downer of all writer downers. For every problem, there is a solution. And for every solution, there is a problem. This journey never stops. This is the law of duality. It just keeps going on and on and on and on. It's like, if you ever were raised in a house like mine, it's like my mom would say, she would say, well, there's always going to be another problem, right? And it used to bug me until I understood what she was saying. There's always going to be a new solution because there will be a new problem. So your solution is amazing. It's going to solve a problem for more than one avatar, guaranteed. So what is the problems that they're experiencing before you solve the problem they're about to have? So if you've ever bought a phone, I don't know where my phone is. You've ever bought a phone and you buy the phone, right? Well, what's your new problem? You need a charger, you need a case, you need a car adapter, you need earbuds, you need a regular adapter because their cord is like this small now. It's ridiculous. Sometimes they even include an adapter. You got to buy that separately, right? So there's all of these new problems that need to be solved. You don't just get the phone. You need to get all the things with the phone. Then you need to get the apps in the phone, right? You need to download all your apps, download your passwords, and you change your phone number. You have to let everybody know. And this is the whole thing. For every solution, there is a problem that is tied to that. Every problem, there is a solution. It is a continued journey. What does that mean to you for the business owner? Congratulations. There's unlimited opportunities for you to grow your business. If a solution is, has its season, right? And it's no longer available, like if you have a lawn service, if you are a cleaning company, if you're an interior designer, there are seasons where you are slammed, right? Busy beyond belief. And then there are seasons where you're not busy. Well, congratulations. There are opportunities there for you to solve a different problem for the same market. If you're a lawn company, maybe it's landscaping, maybe it's pool cleaning, maybe it's putting up lights. There's so many different things for the same market, for the same clients. And you're just building that relationship ongoing. We'll talk more about messaging and how to do that in a little bit. Okay, is this making some sense? Cool. Thank you so much. I bet you actually could so easily be able to tell me my business problems, solutions in like within the first 60 seconds. The law of duality, 100%. So cool. Yeah, I definitely recommend every one of you to research, learn the universal laws, the laws of the universe. Either way, you can look it up, the same thing. The laws of the universe, they just say what they are. They're principles, they're fact, they're truth. Okay, they can never be broken. They just exist. There's nothing you can do about it. It just is. Instead of working against them, you work with them to be successful. It's actually, if you're into mindset and manifestation and energy and things like that, you'll know that flow is at the peak. It's actually at the top. It's where most people want to be. And so when you're in flow, when you're allowing the principles to work with you opposed to working against you, life gets better. Cool. What's up, Cherise? Awesome. Okay. Let's see. I'm checking YouTube, checking Facebook. Awesome. All right. So where were we? What does your business solve? Okay, cool. Yeah, success leaves clues. We talked about that. And before we move on to the next bullet, number 5, how big is the problem? How big is the problem you're solving? See, this is the difference between, and I need to, let's see if I can just bring it up. One of the things that I love about my Remarkable, many things I love about my Remarkable, there's no glare, so I can pull it up and you can see my screen just perfectly. So you get to choose whether you have what size the market is. So is your problem this big? Right? Is it number 1? Type in the chat. 3 or 4? What size problem does your people have? What size problem do they have? Is it a really big problem? Or is it a small problem? How do you know if it's a big problem or a small problem? Let me know in the chat. Because I got some live people. Okay, so a big problem is there is very little room to go around it. Like, there's different ways to address a problem. You go around it, you go over it, you go through it. So there's very little space to go around this problem. That is a very big problem. If it's a small problem, well, they can flick it over to the side and it's not that big of a deal. They'll address it later. Right? So we want to make sure that it's an agitated pain of a problem. Like, this really hurts if I don't solve this problem. I'll give you an example and we'll circle back on consideration later on. But when we're thinking about problems, right? When you think about, let's say you wake up in the morning, you have breakfast, right? And you are walking the mall. I know nobody goes to the mall anymore, but just stick with me for a moment. You're walking the mall. You're going into a shopping center and you're walking, and people are out there with like samples of food, right? Little samples, little food court samples. They're like, "What'd you like?" You just had breakfast. So you're more likely like, I'm good, thank you, right? But if it's lunchtime, you're like, can just give me the tray? Like, I am starved, right? So how big is the problem? Is it something that you need to know what they're experiencing before they get to you so that you know how to solve the problem, how to speak their language, and sell with confidence. Okay. Sounds good, Ryan. Okay. Let's keep going. What is your mission? Number 5. What is your mission? What is your mission? So vision and all of this is, your vision is basically, where do you want to go and why? Your mission is, why do we want to go there and who is coming along? Your mission is, why do you want to go there and who is coming along? This is for my business clarity people. This is from page 4 of the workbook. I'm going to skim over this one because this is going to take some thought. And do I believe that you should take time to think about this one? Absolutely. It is foundational step of any business. I don't care if it's an online business or not. It does not matter. You are selling a brand and identity. So you have to stand for something so that you can stand out from everyone else. Otherwise, you're just going to blend in, without a mission, without a purpose, without a drive, without a dream. You're just going to be stuck with everyone else. So there's this book called Start With Why, written by Simon Sinek. And for those of you that are in Legacy Builders, I'll make sure to put a link to that book. And in that book, it talks about your story. So that goes along with number 6, which is, what is your origin story? In that book, it talks about your story. And it says how powerful your story is when connecting with people. Anybody here not like selling? Raise your hand if you're alone. I know we're virtual and YouTube and Facebook, but I totally get it. I can't see it, but you can. So you might be uncomfortable with selling, but guess what? Your story actually does a lot of the selling before someone meets you and talks to you. Your story, your mission, your purpose, your dream, your story for why your business even exists goes so much further than you believe. This is how you can get paid gigs and speaking gigs and get on podcasts and do social media content for days. This is how people, when they're looking for solutions to problems that they have, they come across your website and then they go ahead and read. Like, who reads anymore, right? They just read because they're engaged or they're repelled. And I don't want you to be afraid of repelling people, because that's actually what you want. You don't want to attract everybody. I guarantee, I promise you this. You don't want to attract everyone. It's a lot of confusion, and it's hard to sell a success transformation when you're trying to sell to everybody. You want to sell to people who are going to be in alignment with you, who you're actually going to enjoy working with, who are you going to be happy to serve and provide them products and give them experiences that they couldn't have anywhere else. And so you want to make sure that you're putting out your mission, you're putting out your story so that you can attract the people that you're called to work with. I am so grateful I get to work with people that I love every day. It is the best thing. And I just so happen to make money off of that, right? Like, that's how great it is. It doesn't feel like I need a vacation from my business, because I'm doing something that I love. And I can take time off to enjoy myself, but I don't really have to, because I'm talking to friends. I get to connect with Ryan and Sharice and people who I enjoy talking to, and I like helping, and I love serving them. So what I'm saying here is, your mission is powerful. Your story is powerful, and it tells people more about who you are and your expectations, your journey, and aligns them to you. And if they're not aligned to you, well, there's someone else. I have this theory that we're all, no matter what you're selling, your service, your products, no matter what you're selling, imagine you're in a restaurant and there are different servers. and it's a crowded restaurant, huge crowded restaurant, right? And the manager, the general manager says, I don't care who serves who. I don't care who serves any table. Just make sure everybody gets served. Right? And then the hostess is like, you've got those 4 tables. You've got those 4 tables. And everybody gets a fair share. Sometimes a set of tables, a section will go slower than others, right? And every once in a while, they'll have somebody come in, sit down, and not be served at all. Our job as servants, people who are providing services or products, is to make sure that everybody's good. Did you have a great experience? Did you have a transformation? Did you enjoy and have delight before you head out the door, before you head on to the next step in your journey? I believe that's so much to my core, because it allows me to free myself from the result of feeling like, oh, I need the sale. No, why don't I just show up and see how you're doing? Oh, you already have a coach? Absolutely. It's amazing. Congratulations. I hope you're going through all of this with them, right? We want to make sure that everybody is taken care of, and it doesn't necessarily have to be you. You could just align yourself with the people that you're called to serve and just enjoy your life, opposed to, being frustrated working with the wrong person. I'll just leave it like that. All right, so we are moving on to step 2, vehicle. Before we do, we actually have to talk about origin story, because this is a powerful part. It is covered in the book, Start With Why. You can get it on Audible, get the book itself. I recommend, actually, this is what I do, and I love doing this, is listening to the book on Audible as well as reading the physical book at the same time. I'll do it at 1:5 speed, and well, not only am I just engulfed in it, I feel like it's being read to me, but I'm actually remembering it more. It's embedded more into me, and I get stuff done, because my mind wanders. I'm like, ooh, I could do this, I could do that. I have great ideas. So that's just a side tangent of, for you are trying to read a book and you're like, man, I don't have time to read this book. Try Audible, try listening to an audiobook, and anytime you can, to sit down with the physical book, to make sure that's the same edition, and then just read along. And it really does help you a lot. It trains your brain. So going to origin story, before we move on to vehicle, is hero's journey, your origin story. When I was a kid, I told great stories. My mom used to think I was going to be in an actor or like a producer, because I tell these amazing stories. And she's like, wow, like, how did you think of this? Like, I really think it was just, anyway, so we'll talk about that another day. But how pure children are, and just like in their natural state, that they could be so creative and so useful and so powerful at the same time. Storytelling is a very powerful asset to have. So if it's a transitional skill, go ahead and write that down. But storytelling is something that, if you are not good at, I highly recommend that you do get good at. I'm still working on this, but there is a formula, there's a format that you want to be able to tell stories. I love referring to the hero's journey, or the hero's 2 journey, the 2 journeys that a hero experience. So an example of a hero's journey is The Hobbit. The movie The Hobbit is a perfect example of the hero's 2 journey. There was multiple journeys, right? There's just like, first, this is how life was, right? This is how life was. Then there was a calling. Then there was a climactic experience. It was just terrible. Then there was a turn of events. And then, finally they get to the point where they have a solution, or they get to their achieved goal. And if you can write stories in that way, you'll have people leaning in like, oh, tell me more. Wow, that sounds really interesting. Opposed to A happened, and B happened, then C happened, then D happened, and so here I am. I want to add a few stories, just like I'm doing here in the workshop. Is like I'm adding stories so that you can understand how they apply, because that's how people remember. Okay, we're ready to move on. I won't do the refresh retreat because that will take some time. So we're going to move on to step 2. in your worksheet. If you haven't downloaded it yet, it is in the description. It's completely free, not gate kept. And we're moving on to vehicle. And so it's about your offer and your audience. I'm pulling all of this from the Business Clarity Workbook. It's a VIP program that I offer for clients who want to get clarity on their business, how to start, scale, and grow it exponentially. So what is your ideal client? Who is your ideal client? Who is your ideal client? I put a couple of starters for you. And the reason why I just left it blank, because I really want to lean into 37 buyer types. So really quick, age. I had somebody tell me, why is it important that I know their age? Well, you want to know their age because the messaging will be different. How you speak to them will be different. How do you communicate with them will be different. The cadence will be different. It's just, they're in a different lifetime. They're in a different season of life. They're teenagers, versus someone who is in their 60s, right? 15-year-old and 60-year-olds. Yes, they might like the same things, but their communication style is going to be different. So if you know that about your audience, it's going to make it easier for you to not only find what happens before and after that, somebody comes through your solution, but also to find JV partners and connect with them, and so that they know that know, like, and trust immediately and fast, so they're not guessing, is this the right thing? I don't know. This sounds really weird. Doesn't seem like there's an alignment. This is why ideal clients are so powerful. If you don't have a persona, if you don't have a target, like a specific type of person who you want to talk to, who you want to sell to, it's going to be really hard for you to sell. And when you do, you're going to be considered a competitive, a commodity, opposed to someone who has an expertise. And I know that could be challenging because it's tough, right? You want to sell to as many people as you can. You want to make as much money as you can. But if you narrow down on your search, on your reach of who you want to sell to, who you want to serve, you'll do better off. You'll be way better off in the long run. Just checking the chats. Cool. Okay, cool. All right. So either if you're selling B2B, B2C, or B2G, business to government, business to business, business to consumer, or business to government, you want to know these things. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what market, what industry, what client. Like, it does not matter. You want to have an ideal client. There's no way around it. It is just business. It's a basic business principle. It's like, if you ever gone to another country where their first language is not English and you're trying to communicate, everybody's frustrated, right? They're trying to help you. You're trying to help them, right? It might be some funny, but it takes longer, especially when you're in a hurry, right? You just want to be able to communicate quickly and just kind of move on. And you can't do that if you're not talking to their language. You have to know who they are first before you can establish a relationship with them. You have to know who they are, what's important to them, what's their pain point and challenges, so that they're attracted to the solution, and do it in a way that's easy and simple for them to digest. This is a writer downer. This, you want to make sure that every piece of content, whether it's on your website, social media, speaking engagements, podcasts, YouTube, whatever type of content to grow your business, has one decision at a time. So if you're on YouTube, it's like, subscribe, comment below, guaranteed people won't do all of those things. They'll do the one that sticks out the most. So if you're trying to grow your YouTube channel, just tell them to subscribe. That's all you have to say. Just subscribe. Click the link down below to subscribe and give them the directions how to do that. If you're wanting to so that you know that they like the content, tell them that. But don't mix the two. This decision making. So I told you I'm a nerd. So I like neuromarketing. I really love neuromarketing. And the strategy behind that is helping business owners and people, the consumers, understand how to communicate with each other. And there is a ton of research that shows that more than one decision at a time confuses people and causes them to step into fear. You actually are not helping them when you give them more than one decision to make. So you want to give them one thing to do. One thing to do in your email, one thing. Excuse me. In your social media, one thing. If you're speaking, one thing. Give them one thing to do. The next step is another thing. A next step is another thing. This is why funnels, if you've ever heard of funnel before, this is why funnels are so powerful, because if you have a setup funnel, it's going to help you know where the holes are. Instead of looking at the entire business and saying, oh, this business doesn't work, maybe it's just tweaking the message at the third step of the sales process. And that's super simple, right? You don't have to burn everything down. You can adjust slightly to make huge impact and change the trajectory of your results exponentially. Okay, a lot of big words. So what season they are in, occupation matters. Are they 9 to 5? Are they have their own business? Are they stay-at-homes? Like, what do they do? Are they retired? Are they veterans? Are they, what are they doing? If you tend to find that you have more than one avatar, ideal client avatar, you start to create an audience. It's kind of like going to a rock concert or any concert in general. There's going to be different types of people there, but they're all there for the same experience. So starting with one is really powerful, because at least you'll know what the commonalities are, and it'll save you a ton of time trying to figure out how to speak to them that they all understand. They're all communicating the same way in that way, right? So let's go into the biggest pain points. I'm going to give you an activity to do that you can put on your calendar and start doing that today. And actually start booking calls right away. It's called surveying people. Start surveying people. The reason why surveying is so powerful is A, it starts to get you to start listening, and B, it helps you get in front of the right buyers and also know which ones are the wrong buyers. So it starts to build your boundaries around who you want to sell to, how you want to sell it, and all that stuff. Okay. So surveying, get comfortable with listening to the market. I can't tell you when a client of mine, when she started surveying, she was like, I don't have an audience. I don't know how to sell to them. I don't know what to sell to them. I don't have an offer. I don't know what people want from me. My transferable skills don't seem valuable enough. And I said, just start serving people. She's like, who do I survey? I don't have a list, Melinda. I don't have an audience. I said, start serving your family. Start serving your friends. Survey them. Just take 10, 15 minutes and ask them, what is the number one challenge you have? What is the pain that you're experiencing every single day that you wish would go away? What keeps you up at night? What is something that you wish existed? I remember I was listening to a podcast episode by a famous business coach, and she was talking to her guest who is a seamstress, and she creates custom fitted dresses for my women out there. A custom fit dress to the T. Like, it sounds like a dream. It sounds like a dream. And so all she does is she gets on a consultation with someone. She talks through what they want in that dress. What's the material they like? What's their fit? What's their size? All that stuff. She does the measurements virtually. And get this, she makes 5 figures on that call, $10,000 for a dress, And so it's just so simple, something that most people would think this is not valuable, but this is really valuable when you've gone to store to store to store and you can't find a dress that fits you perfectly. You don't have time to go to a tailor to get it fitted. You're scared to buy anything on Amazon because you never know how it's going to come into you, but you can get something completely custom fitted for you that you can have for years and use it over and over and over again. So you see, that's where it's important to know what your market is. Like, who are you selling to and what is the biggest pain point? Because the biggest pain point for them, I just said, is literally, I don't have time to run around trying to find a dress for this event. I want to make sure I look presentable, and I want to look like I'm $1,000,000, right? And so I'm willing to invest in a dress that I know that I can reuse over and over and over again for years to come. She did a couple of other dresses for that example. It wasn't just one $10,000 dress, but the whole point of it is there's an opportunity using the skills that you have to make money because people actually need what you have to offer. Okay. Now let's get into the 37 buyer types. And I'm going to go really quick because there's 37. So this will totally make sense. But for some of you that are thinking to yourself, I can't make any content. I don't know how to make content. It seems really overwhelming. I have so much to do there. Like, where do I even go? I guess I'll just talk about my business, right? People don't want to hear your business. People want to hear about how you can solve their problem. Okay. So there is, let's see if I can do this. I wonder if I can share my screen. That would be amazing. Let's see. Okay. Present. Ooh. Hold on a second. Doing this live. Done. Present screen. I'm going to show you the consistent cash system. Except I think this is actually the first time I'm going live with it publicly. I've taught this a lot, but I don't think I've ever shared it publicly. So hopefully it helps. All right, share screen. Yes. Okay. Window. Okay, it's working. Let's see. Ooh, yay, that worked. All right. So I call this the client journey. This is a part of the consistent cash system. Now it's the funnel, but it's upside down. And it has this peak that's called the new opportunity. And like all funnels, it has to be embedded in the market. Like, you need to know what's going on in the minds of your buyers, and you can't do that from a distance. You actually have to know from where you are, like have some connection to what's impacting them so that you can respond to them quickly. The first step of the client journey, this is the client journey, is awareness. Awareness is your content, your social media, this YouTube video, this, your basically anything before they make a decision to buy from you. And we'll talk a little bit about buy in a second. But awareness is a decision to trust you just a little bit. Like, imagine there's like a trust barometer. I call it a trust barometer. And the further along they are, the more trust they have in you. The more trust they have in you, helping them with their problem, right? It grows over time, this trust barometer. At awareness, they're trusting you just enough to tell you something. They're trusting you with an impression. They're trusting you with a stopped scroll. They're trusting you to like gain their attention from something attractive that they're working on right now. And that thing they're working on is their problem. Instead of solving the problem, like this workshop, I'm solving problems, but there's symptoms to the problem. The bigger problem is how do you put all of this together, right? I'm helping you solve symptoms. And if I can help you solve the symptoms, then you increase your trust in me helping you solve the real problem, the root problem. So we can eliminate the root problem and get you to the next destination as quickly as possible. Awareness is the stage that you're talking about the symptoms. You've ever gone on like when you have a thought, you're like, oh man, I got a pain in my shoulder. Oh, what is this? What could it be? Right? And you Google pain in shoulder for 3 days, or, can't sleep on shoulder, right? And Google will pull up like WebMD and like Mayo Clinic and all these websites and everything like that. And the information it pulls up is consideration. So at awareness, you're just making them aware that a solution exists. You're just like, I just want you to know you're not alone. What? I'm not alone? People lean in. Consideration is, and this is what it may be, right? Consideration is that. Tech companies do this flawlessly. Tech companies will put their product, compare it to other products similar. You might be a weight loss coach and you help people naturally, organically lose weight loss. Well, there's different ways to lose weight. You could do surgery, you could have pills, you could do injections, you could do so many different things to lose weight. The result, the solution is I help you lose weight. The problem is you want to lose weight, right? So anything, the vehicle of getting them to the transformation is what's in consideration. It's talking about different ways to solve the same problem. So if you have that pain in your shoulder, you could go and schedule an appointment with your doctor. You can go to the ER. You can go to a minute clinic, like a little 24-hour clinic, or you can just take care of it with an ice pack, right? And so that's what's on the consideration website, the page, if you will. It's not going to be called consideration. It's going to be like, here are the 4 ways that you can solve your problem, right? That's consideration. Then there's conversion. I'm going to explain 3 layers to this because the client journey is there are 5 layers to this, but I'm just going to explain you 3 layers because that is all you need to get really far in like make it all sense. Conversion is the sale, right? Conversion is the sale. But here's the thing, it's about decision making. Conversion is decision making. So one decision from the market to awareness, another decision from awareness to consideration, and consideration to conversion. So like every time someone takes a step, there needs to be something to compel them to move forward. So from the market to conversion, you're going to have low conversions because it's harder to get somebody from the market to conversion. It's harder to get them from awareness to conversion. But what's the next step that they have to accomplish? And it could be done in a day. It could be done in a minute. It could be done in an hour. It doesn't really matter how long. Time is not a value to this specific process. It just matters the order of the process. Okay. Conversion is when they exchange. Now, then there is activation. I created the client journey because of activation. Whew, Lisa. So activation, my husband, I was at a doctor's appointment, paid this doctor a lot of money beforehand to have this appointment. And we get there, and the first time we went to the appointment, there was like music playing. It was just so like seasonal, and people were so kind. They were just like, hi, good morning. How are you? Just like chit chatty, here's the paperwork. They're just so comfortable. It made me feel like I made the best financial decision, right? Then the next appointment, a follow-up appointment, I get there and they did not take the time to establish a process. Let's just say that. TVs were off. The clocks were ticking so loudly. There was nobody talking. It was just like as if it was a ghost town in there. It was so uncomfortable. It was cold, and all I could think about is the clock. I was there early. I was listening to the clock tick, 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 tick. The TV was off, and then all I see is a flashing time of what time it was, like going across the screen. And I just thought, oh my gosh, how long have I waited? A completely different experience, the same office. Activation is very powerful because that second visit, I was a different consumer. I was a different patient. I was a patient who was like impatient. I was thinking to myself, when can this be over so I can stop hearing the ticking and I can go home, right? Can they put some music on? Like, is anybody here? I feel like might be like a minute past the time. And you and I know we're going to wait forever to see a doctor, right? They have stages. Like you get in, you check in, you sit for 15 minutes, and then you go in the back, and then you sit in a room for 15 minutes, maybe 30 minutes, and then you'll see a doctor for about 2 minutes, and then you'll have to check out. Like the whole thing, it's a process, right? So the expectation is I'm going to see the doctor for about 2 minutes, but I'm going to have to wait about an hour to see a doctor for only 2 minutes. And I was focused more on that problem than the first time where I was dwelling in this experience and, oh yeah, take your time. Sure, no problem, right? The same timeline is completely different experience. You might be thinking to yourself, if you have a storefront, if you're brick and mortar, and you're thinking, man, just can't get people to come back. It might have a lot to do with your activation. It might have a lot to do with how you're keeping people to come back, to keeping your trust, your relationship with them. Maybe you're falling down the trust barometer. Maybe you have to reacclimate them. Maybe you said or did something that they just lost their trust. And here's the thing, in our society today, because of social media, people are not as forthcoming with their thoughts. They're less likely to speak. This is research says that people are less likely to tell you the problem than to complain about it online. So activation is really powerful. You want to check in. You want to see how they're doing. Are they getting the experience that you promised them? Are they having a good, delightful experience? And then advocacy. Advocacy is I do this really well. So advocacy is the goal for everybody. It's the goal for you as a business owner. It's the goal for your clients. Everybody is focused on advocacy. You want everybody to be focused on advocacy because the advocacy is the result. It is the before and after transformation. It's like, you ever watch the show? They don't have it on TV anymore. It's The Ugly Swan, where they had like a mirror and it was just like the before and after, or like a HGTV, like watching a home transformation. It's not that we want to learn everything about construction. No, it's a transformation. It's the experience. It's the storytelling that this network is doing to keep your eyes on TV. Advocacy is the closing. It's the unveiling. And when you unveil what they just experienced, you help them understand how much they've changed, how much you've helped them, and what the next step is. The new opportunity is my favorite part because this can be something you create with your customers. If they're already in your world, if they are just reached the barometer of trust and they're just like, thank you so much. Oh my goodness, selling is a breeze because you're just helping them through the next journey, the next step of their experience. And it goes on and on. So what's the new opportunity look like? You literally just take awareness, consideration, conversion, activation, and advocacy, and you zoom in. It's in the new opportunity. You just start all over again within those steps with the same market. That's why you're selling over and over again something new to help them with their transformation. And if you might be saying to yourself, how many products or service should I have? No. You don't need more. You could know somebody who solves the next problem. You could be an affiliate for that next step, right? And helping them get the next step accomplished. So the new opportunity can be anything. It could be affiliate marketing. It could be referral based. It could be a product or service that you offer. It could be whatever it is that the next step that they need completed and solved. So really quick, I'm going to take the next 4 minutes before I transition to the next step in the worksheet. But hopefully this is helpful to you guys. I'm going to check the Facebook here. Okay, cool. And awesome. All right. Okay, cool. So at awareness, I'm going to layer in heart and head selling method. My heart and head selling method is to help you know how to craft your messaging at every step of the client journey. So what do you say at awareness? How do you talk about fact, or you talk about emotion? Do you talk about the data, or you talk about the experience, right? Well, at awareness, depends on who you're talking to, but the majority of buyers, 97% of buyers, are using their emotion to make a decision. So emotion is number one. Then it's tied to logic. They're thinking logically. They're like, oh, okay, I guess, yeah, that makes sense. And that feels good, right? That feels good and that makes sense in that order. And then at consideration, it's the same thing. But now there's more logic, where as awareness, emotion was dominating. At consideration, there's more of a balance between the two, because they're about to make a decision. They're about to make a financial decision in most situations. So they're still emotional, but they're more like, it's more like 50-50. It's not completely 50-50, but it's like they're looking for both types of information. They're like, oh, this feels good, and this looks good. Like, we're wanting to make sure that we check both of those boxes. Okay. Then at conversion. So two things happen at conversion. You get paid at conversion, and your buyer turns into a logical buyer. So in a conversion, they're emotional. Oh boy, are they emotional. They're at a height of emotion. But it's your job to make sure that you're backing that up with logical information, with data, testimonials, case studies, making sure along their journey that they're making the right decision. Yes, it is not just an emotional decision that you're making, it is a logical decision as well. When you get to activation and they have transitioned, they've given you money. In neuromarketing says that the most painful activity a buyer makes is giving you money, is giving you an exchange of money. The majority of buyers in the world are working for money. We're working every hour to make money. So if they're giving you $1,000, they're giving you $1,000 worth of their time. It's a very painful exchange. So they're immediately going into an activation process. You better validate that what I just gave you was worth $1,000 worth of my time, $10,000 worth of my time, $100,000 worth of my time, right? Is activation. And so they're going to be logically dominating. They're like, okay, where is my welcome kit? Where is my first email? Where is this? Where's that? If you've ever had an issue with a customer or a client and they're just like really bossy, they're like take control over things, it's because you didn't activate them properly. 100%. If you activated them properly, you'd stay in the driver's seat and they would feel comfortable with being the passenger, because you would just show them that you're the authority. Like, I got you. I'm going to take care of you. Everything is fine. You want to do that immediately after conversion. As soon as they give you money, tell them what's next. What I like to do through activation is tell them before it happens. So at conversion, they're exchanging money. Okay, I'm going to send you a contract. This is what's going to happen. Then we're going to schedule, you're going to receive an email from me. It's going to be a welcome kit. Then we're going to schedule a kickoff call. And I'm going to tell them what's happening, 1 to 2 steps ahead. When they're at the step, so say we're on the strategy call, I'm going to tell them what just happened. And so we sent you the welcome kit and we just finished the strategy session. I'm going to send a follow-up emails to, just recap our meeting. And then the next step would be, so we always want to make sure that there's an end cap to every engagement that we have with client during activation. This allows you to stay in control of the customer journey, of the client journey, and also allow them to relinquish control so that they just do the emotional experiencing all by themselves and you stay there as a logical business owner. This is so important. Please be a logical business owner. Don't think that you need to just you need to feel all the feels with them. You can empathize, you could share stories, but it actually helps them more when you're not emotionally engaged, because you could be like, yes, I completely understand. This is what actually happened. Like, be, authentic. This is actually what happened. I want to share with you this story, da da da, to help them further along in the journey. If you make it about you, you slow them down, because now they're thinking, are you like, is this your first time doing what you're doing? Or like, now it's like, okay, so now there is a fight for control, and we don't want that to happen. It's going to slow their transformation down, and it's going to cause you to impact the result of advocacy. And advocacy is the goal. When we get through activation, and so activation is where you're delivering. When we get through activation, they automatically become emotional buyers again. Emotional in a bad way, emotional in a good way, they are emotional buyers. So advocacy is really important. It's really important because that's the lasting impression of them selling you, paying you something for something you sold them for a promise that you either did or didn't deliver. And even though they might have gotten the result, if their experience was bad, what do you think they're going to remember? The experience or the result? What do you remember? Do you remember the experience or do you remember the result? If you go on a trip, a vacation, and it was just the flight was awful, the hotel was stinky, you might have gone there and it was like a beautiful trip, right? Beautiful weather, but what are you going to remember? You're going to remember the experience, not the result. So think about that when you're selling and delivering value, please. And if you're selling and delivering value to me, definitely think about it, because So, all right. So then it's the new opportunity, which is all emotionally. So the heart and selling method just kind of helps you know exactly what your messaging is at every phase of the client journey, so that it makes it easier for you to transform their lives for good, so that they're not having to experience the same problem again. They're moving on to the next step in their journey, and they're getting further along to achieving their goals. Okay, so I'm going to stop there. Those are the three. It's the trust barometer, it's the heart and head selling method, and it's also the client journey itself, the structure itself, to kind of help you just, here we go. Just know exactly where you are in your journey. What do you need to fill? Now you know, okay, well, what do I want in awareness? Maybe you want a lead magnet. Maybe you want a downloadable, so that when they're in social media, they go straight into a lead magnet, then they go into your funnel, and then you start nurturing them in consideration content. And when they buy and they go to conversion. So what's that journey look like? Conversion might be a 5-step email sequence, right? There's so many different things that you have to think about when you are building out a business that's going to be successful. Because if you think, I just need to do social media, it's not working. Well, the reason why it's not working, because you haven't established an entire plan that's going to work. There's the social media is the last thing that your business should be thinking about. The first thing is advocacy. The first thing is like, what is a transformational experience that I can deliver to make them happy? Like, to get them to the next step of their journey towards desire, right? So that's the number one thing you should think about, and then work backwards. Activation. What are the steps, right? So you could be working through activation as you start to build out your services, your programs, and your products. That's fine, but at least have the steps there. So at least a welcome kit, right? An email that says welcome, congratulations, whatever, that tells them how you work, what are your hours of operation, how they can reach out to you to pay you, are they retainer, are they pocket, like just the basics of what your boundaries are for doing business should be in your activation sequence. Then in conversion, how are you going to convert people? Do you have payment set up? Do you what are your pricing? How do you communicate your pricing is important. And why is your pricing your pricing? What value do you bring? Why do you think that the offers the offers that you have are valuable to the marketplace? Because that's what you're going to have to justify in the conversation at conversion, regardless of if you do pre-selling, right? So what is the thing? Like, why should I buy from you? I should buy from you because, and go back through step one, what we covered earlier in this video, and that will help you. And then consideration. Ooh, I love consideration. I love consideration. This is where we just like knock down all of the objections and we just clear out any potential opportunities for them to get a deliver transformation from anyone else. This is my favorite part. It's an ever evolving journey because as a marketplace changes, as the industries changes, the world changes, as the economy changes, as culture changes, consideration content will change. And so it becomes like this library of information that you get to pull and use throughout your entire client journey so that you can refer back to. It's like, when this happened, when that happened, that really becomes your value, the authority value that you need at awareness. So awareness is just a repurposing of consideration in a sense, kind of, sort of. Awareness is just really agitating the problem. It's agitating the problem. It's telling them how painful it is. It's reminding them how painful it is, what they're missing out by not solving this problem, right? You just want to continue to tell them. And then when you start, or if you already have before and afters, like case studies and testimonials and things like that, I call them before and afters because it's just an easier way to think about them. Then you want to share them through your awareness content and your consideration content. Your awareness content is like a little snippet. You want to learn more? Click this link. It gets to the consideration where they're going into detail of the challenges, the pain points, the solutions, things like that. Then book a call, right? So like you see, naturally, it starts to just wind and tie itself up together. Before and afters, I call any social proof before and afters because that's the most impactful way to tell a story that helps them remember it. So if you just said, oh, Johnny wanted this and this is how they got it, it's like, But if you tell me how he felt, what he was experiencing, like use all the senses to tell the story of a before and after, how he felt, what he saw, what he experienced, what was the pain, what was the impact to his business, his life, whatever solution that you help solve, health, wealth, and relationships. And after he went through our amazing transformative experience, problem, solution, name, this is what he got. This is what he got. And you're just basically aligning before and after. Before he was sad, after he was happy, before he was in pain, after he was not in pain, right? So you're just like aligned, boom, 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 right through the story. And that is the before and after. It could be in visual, it can be in the written form, it could be in anything. And that is so powerful. If you think about before and after as opposed to testimonials, you're like, what should be in a testimonial? Testimonial should be the before and after. I was here, now I'm here, right? I was here wanting this, and now I finally got it. What should be in your videos, right? Your video testimonial, your written testimonials, your letters of recommendation. That's in government contracting world, but just things like that, reference letters, things like that. What do you want? You want a transformational experience story in that piece of content. Okay. Let's go. Sherry says, so good. Experience. Exactly, Cherise. Let's go. All right. Now we're ready for the 37 buyer types, and we're going to go fast, like I told you. Okay, so the 37 buyer types. I created this thing because, again, I was thinking to myself, what type of content do I need to write? There's so many things. I could have ChatGPT write content for me, but instead of guessing at what was going to convert better, why don't I just get to know my ideal client better? And then I can just create messaging for them. And that's it, right? Just keep it simpler. Make it simpler. So the 37 buyer types is solving that problem. It's solving the problem of what do I say? Okay, you told me that there's 5 phases and then there's new opportunity. Totally get that. Some are emotionally dominant, where I tell more stories, and the other ones are logical dominant. That's where the data is, right? Now I know the balance between what the type of content that I should have at every stage. Cool. But what should the content be, Melinda? Right? And this goes back to the ideal client avatar, your 36 buyer types. The first buyer type, ladies and gentlemen, is you. If you don't buy in to your business, no one else will. If you don't believe that you can to deliver a solution, solve a problem, no one else will. If you're not confident about what you deliver, no one else will be. If you don't believe in what you say and how you do it, no one else will. So before you try to convince anybody else, you better convince yourself, because you are a walking billboard for value. And so if you say, oh, this is what I do, with your shoulders hunched over and you're really quiet, and you maybe post like 1 or 2 times a month, right? And you're like, this isn't working. Well, because you don't believe in it. You don't believe that you can transform someone's life. Full stop. So once you've convinced yourself, gone through your system, looked at your results, see that, man, you know what? I'm a bomb. I'm a bomb.com. I'm a powerhouse. I am amazing. Once you have convinced yourself, then you're ready for the next 36. Now, there are, let's see if I can just do this really quick. There are 3 columns. Oh my goodness, this is so cool. Okay. There are three columns in the 36 buyer types. So it starts with you. You're at the top. And then there are customers, clients, and partners. Customers or clients, Melinda? Absolutely not. Customers are people who are on a completely different journey. They have different feelings. They have different goals. They're not looking to be handheld. They're like, I just want this and I'll be back in 6 months, or I'll never be back, right? Customers are people who have customized their own experience, their own transformation, and they just need your piece to finish the puzzle. Clients are like, I just help me through the entire journey. I will stay with you forever, right? These are high ticket clients. Mostly clients are high ticket clients. They're retainer clients, they're repeat clients, like people who are, I trust you, you are my person, just help me solve my problems, because I could see that you could help me solve multiple problems. Like, it is. And then your partners, they're going to be your JV partners, they're affiliate partners, they can be podcasters, YouTubers, people who are complimenting you. They're on that pearl line, right? Clapping before and after you. And sometimes they don't have a business themselves. They're just like, they're great marketers. They're great advertisers for you, because they'll warm up the audience for you. Okay. So this is how it breaks down. So in your worksheet, and maybe I should do that, show you guys the worksheet. Yeah, okay, I do have it up. I'm going to change this and then present, share screen. Yep, this one here. Okay. So in your worksheet, I'm just going to go through this quickly because there are 37, but it will make sense. I promise you it'll make sense. This is what they're thinking about in their mind. I told you I love neuroscience, the brain science. And I'm always thinking about, what are they thinking about before they come to my solution? What are they thinking about? Besides having the problem, what are they thinking? And these are the things that they're thinking about. Okay. So they were warmed out by competitors. So somebody else was talking about the solution. They just chose not to buy. Oh, that's powerful. You could write an email that way, right? Maybe you were warmed up, like maybe you went through and now you know what your consideration content is. Now you know what your email messaging is, right? You could talk to this. Like, so many of our clients come from competitors. really, just like a side note, many of my clients have already tried to solve business clarity that just never got solved. And so they came to me and they're telling me about their experience, and they're frustrated, they're overwhelmed. In fact, she's not a client. Maybe she will be one day, but I was talking to somebody about 2 weeks ago, and I was just helping her out with her business, just kind of giving her advice. And she said, wow, you gave me so much value in this one 30-minute conversation, which ended up being an hour. But one 30-minute conversation that I had in a $10,000 offer that I just bought from a very high-level influencer. And I felt that. But that answers that question. Warmed up by a competitor, someone that they bought from, right? So that's on here. Previously attempted to solve a problem with another solution or a competitor. This is something that's important, because if you know what your customers, your clients are thinking, you could prepare them by addressing it. It's like someone telling you, it's the question during your sales call or your discovery call, depending on how you're formatted. And one of the common questions is like, have you ever worked with someone before to solve this problem? Have you ever hired a VA? Have you ever worked with an agency? Have you ever, right? And so depending on what they say, depending on they're going to be honest, right? They'll give you a different response. And this will impact whether or not they buy from you. So if you know how to speak to that before they get on the phone with you, before they get on the Zoom, before you try to go through this thing, you increase your win rate. My agency, for 4 years straight, our conversion rate was just crazy. People think I'm a liar about this, but our conversion was 97%. 97%. Why? Because we responded to every single one of these questions before they got on the phone with us. It came in the form of a blog post. It came in the form of an email. When they booked a call, they got email sequences. And so when they got on the phone with us, oh man, they were primed. So if we needed to review something, sure, no problem. But we had to address every single one of the things that we knew that they were experiencing. And you could have one story to hit multiple types, right? One story to hit multiple types. But you want to make sure you hit all of them. So that's the 36. They're organized by customer, client, and partner. Why? Because you're not going to talk to a customer the same way you're going to talk to a client. And you're definitely not going to talk to a client or a customer the same way you talk to a partner. They have different needs. They have different wants and desires. And so if you understand their needs, wants, and desires, this messaging becomes so easy. So easy. This is why I've been talking about ideal client. If you go through my Instagram, I did a whole year of Instagram lives on ideal client avatars for I think it was 2021, a whole year, because it's so, so powerful. It's so, so, so valuable. All right. So core offer. Are you guys with me? Let's go. I told you this was going to be intense. This is not like a masterclass. This is like a workshop. We're on hour and 38. Cool. Bring my notes up. There they are. Okay. What is your flagship offer, or what is your core offer? So your offers, and this goes back to step one when we're talking about transferable skills. We're looking at the market. We're figuring out who your ideal client is. Someone said to me when they were going through my business clarity workshop, they said, I think this should be flipped. And I said, no. This is the right order. You need to know what you can sell before you start selling something, right? And you definitely need to know who your audience is before you start thinking about selling something. Because if you don't know who your audience is before you create an offer, it's kind of like creating a product, a course. Let's think of the most painful thing to create. And it takes months to create. And you put it on the marketplace and nobody buys. There goes months of time gone, wasted. Because you wanted to create something, you felt that it was valuable, and it's gone. It's like not worth it. I can say this because it happened to me. I created a program. This is about 3 years ago. I created a program, and it was actually on the heels of me doing this whole ideal client avatar email or live thing on Instagram for a year. And I remember I created this course, and at the time my coach was like, okay, yeah, just sell it. I couldn't sell it for nothing. Like I couldn't sell it for anything. And it wasn't the course itself. The course is amazing. I've sold it it's amazing. It was the messaging. Now, imagine creating a course with dozens of videos using terminology that your audience, your ideal client, your ideal audience does not use. It's kind of like saying you're calling the remote a clicker when they don't even know what a clicker is. They're like, what? And they're all of my content. So that's what I'm saying. You have to start with the audience so that you know the language to use in all of your content, all of your products, and everything, so that they know immediately, oh, I need to buy this. And you want that instantaneous message, like to hit their head, like, oh, their brain goes, oh my gosh, this is a dopamine hit. I totally have to buy this. This is going to make me so happy. And logically, it's backed up by results. Like that's what you want. You don't want someone to question, oh, is this for me? I don't know. I'll come back to it. And then on their way out the door, they see your competitor who has taken the time to curate and massage their messaging and making sure that they're the right fit. Cool. Hopefully I scared you enough. So your flagship offer is like, it's kind of like the peak of everything you do. So my flagship offer is Business Clarity. Business Clarity is for different types of businesses. So if you're starting out, we've got Business Clarity at start out, right? At start. If you are growing your business, like if you're hiring team, Business Clarity can be customized and adjusted to fit you. If you are scaling your business to multiple millions, this is where I take Business Clarity, apply it to your business, customize to your business, and then we talk about government contracting because it makes sense in that order. So my flagship offer is Business Clarity because as soon as we get clear on your goals, how to speak to the marketplace, what offers that they're going to buy, it's easy. It's like totally easy to get you to the result, which inevitably my goal is to get you to advocacy. Another word for advocacy is to get you a testimonial so that I can share my testimonial with the world and help other people like you get to where you want to go. So your offer is important, but it's going to be aligned to your audience. Cool. Before we talk to your audience, you need to know what you're going to sell to them. You could do survey. That's not talking. That's like just doing research, just market research. When I'm saying talking, I mean putting posts, content, etc. How long does this take to go through to this entire system? I've had clients do it in a VIP day, one day. It's an intense day, but we go, right? I'm going through this. It's probably going to take me about 2 hours to get through this program. It could take 10 hours. It could also take 2 weeks. It could take a year. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It depends on how fast you want to go. So if you want to go fast, if you want to get results, if you want to see your business go faster, then it makes sense to go and do more of a VIP program or to do one of our cohorts. If you want it to take longer, then we have something set up for you so you can take longer. But excuse me, the more money you make, the more customization that we put into it so that you have exactly what you need and nothing more. All right. So to give you an example of a flagship offer that I just shared with you is the Business Clarity. Products and services. So I want to share with you that there's this thing. It's also going to be some more market research, but it's called a SWOT analysis. SWOT stands for strengths, weakness, opportunities, and threats. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. SWOT. So oftentimes I find that business owners have not taken the time to do a SWOT analysis on their own business. They do it on their competitors, and potentially they'll do it on their customers and clients. But here's the thing, you want to do it on all four. You want to do it on your clients, you want to do it on your competitors, you want to do it on your customers, and you definitely want to do it on your company. And I call this the 4 C's because the 4 C's are going to help you know what your value proposition is. What's going to make you different in the marketplace? What's going to make you unique? Your unique value proposition, like what's going to make you unique to everybody else that's out there? What's going to be speaking to customers and clients? Who do you want to attract? Do you want to attract more clients or do you want to attract more customers? Depending on what you're selling, just depending on the experiences that you offer, different things. You get to decide that. Several people that I've talked to, they think about, like, they're in the SaaS, right? They're in the SaaS, have a SaaS business. They have a service as a software as a service business. So they're focused on continuity. They're talking about, like, we just need one person and they stay in our ecosystem for years and years and years. And just like they stay, right? There's less likely for them to fall off because they've adapted and they've acquired their relationship. Whereas in a different industry, it might be something completely different. It may be your virtual assistant, right? Maybe you're providing a one-time service, a photography business. You're providing a one-time service. How do you keep people stay with you for longer? How can you create continuity in that? The longer someone can stay with you, the better it is. So you want to do your strengths, weakness, opportunities, threats for every 4 of the ones that I just mentioned: your customers, your clients, your company, and your competitors. I'm going to take a sip. Whew. I hope that this is helping. Okay, cool. So I hope that this is helping. Can you please repeat the 4 C's? Okay, so clients, customers, competitors, company. Clients, customers, competitors, company. Company is you, your company. You're welcome, my friend. Okay, so you want to do that research, because when you know the strengths of all 4, so what are the strengths of your customers and clients? Well, you don't need to solve that problem because they're strong in it. What are the weaknesses? Oh, well, maybe there might be some messaging there that I can respond to. What are the opportunities? Are there opportunities in their journey to get a better response, to get a better result? And then threats. What could impede them in their journey to get to their destination? Your competitors, you're going to do the same thing. When you're looking at your competitor content, y'all, please, please, please don't compare. Like, write that down in big caps, underline it, circle it, highlight it, kiss it, bless it. Do not compete with your competitors. Do not go on websites and look and say, oh, they're doing it better than me. Oh, they have more clients than I do. Oh, they're so much better, right? We're not doing that. No. This is how you select your competitor, and it's going to make your life better. Okay? You're not going to look for competitors that are your size. Startups, you're not going to look at them. Do not look at, if you're a startup and you're comparing yourself to a startup, you'll never get out of startup. You want to look at a company that are steps ahead of you. So if you're a startup and someone has surpassed their $1 million mark, that's your competitor. I want to compete with them. It's going to change your mindset. It's going to change your messaging. It's going to change your strategy. It's going to change your entire idea of your business. Because if you're thinking like, oh, you know what? Now I have a standard for where to go, versus when you're trying to compete with someone who is on your mark, it's like it's not that big of a jump to be better. You want to strive for higher. You want to be someone that is looking up at your competitors and saying, I want to be them or better. That's how you want to look. So you might have a couple of different profiles. You might have a competitor who is focused on Maybe they're in your market and they're delivering a solution that's similar to yours, but not the same. And you might see a couple of other ones, at least 3 of them. You want to look at your 3 competitors. When you're doing your surveys with customers and clients, really ask those questions like, what do you believe your strengths are? What do you believe your weaknesses are? What do you believe are opportunities for you to accomplish your goal faster? What are the threats? What are some things that potentially could impact or impede your journey? There you go. There are your questions. The same thing for your partners. Same thing for your partners. Not everybody is going to be in alignment with your partnership. You might think to yourself, well, the more people that I have that are selling my business, the better. No, because reputation matters. If someone wants to partner with you in your business, they might be thinking, well, I can do this backhanded thing and side door, unethical thing to like get this so that I can make my cut. And that hinders your reputation exponentially. Now, when you go back to the buyer types, it's like, oh man, you're just working with people that you're undoing things that your partner did. The goal of a partner is to warm your audience up. It's to warm them up. So if they're not warming them up properly, then you're going to have to undo the work that they did. That is not helpful. So you want to make sure that you understand that avatar, that buyer, any message, even if there's no exchange for money, is a buyer. Like you're a buyer right now. We're buying each other's time. You're buying my time. I'm buying your time, right? There's an exchange. So there's always going to be an exchange. It's just without going into your industry language, your industry standard, there's just buyer types. There's types of buyers. If you're reaching out to speak at an event, that's a buyer. What do they need? What is their pain point? What's their strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats? We're going to think about that. Are they competitors? Are they partners? Are they clients? You know what I mean? Like you want to make sure that you're thinking about that and how it aligns with your business and being honest with yourself when you do your own SWOT for your business. As it currently is, it's not about, your SWOT analysis is what it is right now. Your present moment is your SWOT analysis. Cool beans. Okay. Whew. Questions? Any questions? Take a breather. Okay. Well, let's move on to pricing. Shall we? Let's move on to pricing. And pull up a few slides from another program I created. Let's see. Oh, this is what I want to show. Okay. So we're going to stop sharing this one and then present. I am just so loving the interaction here on this thing. I am using StreamYard and I love StreamYard. Okay, window. Here we go. Oh, here we go. Let me use that one. Okay, so let's see here. A lot of people say they just want to hit 6 figures in their business. Like if your goal is just to hit 6 figures in your business, can I just be really honest what that means? Like, congratulations, that's a goal. I want you to hit 6 figures in your business. Hands down. But let me just summarize what that actually means. Okay? What that actually means, so that there's no surprises when you make 6 figures in your business, because you will make 6 figures and more in your business. Imagine, let's look on the right-hand side. So imagine you're making, let's say, $10,000 a month, right? So that 10 times 12 is $120,000 a year. You're making $120,000 a year. And you pay taxes, you pay team. Team can be contractors, right? Team can be employees and staff and etc. I mean, at $10,000 a month, I would highly recommend you not have an employee on your staff, but if that's what you want to do, your profits will be very small. And then your expenses. So your expenses, your overhead, your Canva subscription, your live stream subscription, your phone, any products that you need, your solutions like your software, your computer, like credit cards, whatever you have that is helping you run your business are considered expenses. Now, if I look at $2,500 that a month to run my business, that's $30,000 a year to run my business. And so if I pay myself $70,000 a year, that's only $5,830 a month. And these are all rough estimates, but it's about $700 in taxes. It's actually more. It's more. I use an example for this specific slide, and I had to be careful with my words, but I included the expenses as education. So like if you wanted to get into my business clarity program, I am not an accountant or a lawyer or anything like that. I cannot give you financial advice or legal advice. However, many of my clients have written off the expense of going through our program. So I'll put it that way. Okay, so that's the example that I use for this specific slide. So that would leave you a $970 profit a month. A lot of people think, oh man, that's a lot of money. That's not really a lot of money. In case you didn't notice, there's $970 goes far. So if you wanted to invest in another program, you have to pay that up front and then you can get that money at the back. But there has to be an exchange. Also, emergencies. Maybe you have an emergency project you want to take on. If you're in government contracting, this is nothing. Even especially if you're a product-based business, you want to make sure that you have money set aside so that in case there's a delay in getting paid, you're good to go, right? You can pay yourself. Savings. This doesn't include savings. God forbid something happens. Like there is a winter coming, right? There's always a winter coming. In the middle of summer, there's always a winter, right? There's 4 seasons in the year. Winter always comes every 4 seasons. So there's no savings. There's no preparation for the future. None. $970. If for next month, all your clients go away and you have no income coming in, you have to start all over again to get to 10K, you only have $970. So what am I saying here? I'm saying if your goal is 6 figures, you want to make sure, I am recommending you as a coach for the next hour, is to only think of 6 figures as multiples. Like you want to make at least $250,000, $300,000 at least before you hire a team, or increase your rates or increase your prices or change your core offer, create something on demand so that you're making money without exchanging time for it. Right? So what are some things strategically that you can think of when you're building out your business from a money financial standpoint? So I have a couple of examples I'm going to use to share with you is cost-based pricing, value-based pricing, retainer, and competitive-based pricing. These are all good. They're all great. It just depends on the industry. Now, I will add an asterisk, a very large asterisk, and say that the world is changing at a very fast speed, and the traditional way of doing business is being extinct as we speak. Like it's just for my agencies, for my service businesses, the way that you've been running your business for the last however long, the way that who you're learning from, coaches or mentors or YouTube channels or any content, you always want to be thinking, how do I do this in 10 years? How do I do this in 5 years? And research is showing that especially service businesses, they're losing a lot of money to better solutions. I'm going to say better because at the end of the day, everybody's most valuable asset is time. So here's where I'm going to plug and say high ticket offers. I'm going to plug and say high ticket offers. If you don't have a high ticket offer, you need to create one, right? There's a lot of reasons why you should have one. And these pricing models is just a reason, just one of the many reasons why. Okay. They're not bad. Cost-based pricing is a great pricing model for some industries, but not all. Value-based pricing, great, right? This is where we talk about high ticket offers. Great pricing model for almost all, but not all, right? Retainers are great pricing model, right? Competition, competitive-based pricing, great, And so let's talk about through these four. All right, so cost-based pricing. So how much you want to make ends meet is basically what cost-based pricing is. Is that too tough? Let me see. Okay. Double check my comments, make sure. Okay, very cool. Okay, cost-based pricing. This excludes holidays, vacations, weekends, conferences for the year. So I did a quick calculations for you. It's 365 days in a year minus 240 days. You get 125 days off. That's just weekends. Just weekends, holidays, vacations, if you wish. And so that comes out to, and you see how it's broken down to 20 days per month. Day rate is a $416 an hour, or a day is $105 an hour. This is a day rate. This is a day rate based off of working 4 hours a day. I think that most people believe that they just have to work 4 hours a day in their business and they're good. This does not include, this is like just production. This is delivery only. So this is activation. But all the other elements to make your business run is not included in this number. So if you have ClickFunnels, if you have ConvertKit, if you have Zapier, MailChimp, do you have social media automation plugin tools? Do you have subscriptions to things? This is also something to keep in mind. This is not take home. This is how much you make in your business. This is revenue. This is revenue. So, and then always double check your math. So this is based off $100,800. And here's the calculation. You can take a screenshot and look at it and create your own cost-based price. I recommend doing a cost-based price because for any business, you don't have to actually utilize it, but you at least know what it takes to make money. So if you know $105 per hour, if you're working 20 days per month, then you're like, okay, so if you don't know how to price something yet and you still want to get the project, so they ask you for a workshop. It's a 2-day workshop. Okay, so how many hours per day? 2 days. So it's 8 hours. So it's 8 times 105, and then that gives you the workshop deal so that it covers you for those 2 days. And if you're not sure about the price, you at least know that's going to cover you. That's just making ends meet. And then you can at least add something on top of it. That's why I like cost-based, because it's at least the baseline for what your price should be. I would not recommend you use your cost-based price to price yourself. Do not do that. This is just like, this is as low as you go. And that's it. There's nothing else. Because you at least want to make something. This is not profit. This is just like making sure that your bank account hits the zero and not negative. Okay, so value-based pricing is my favorite because it's based off the value that you deliver. Value-based pricing is not based off your value. It's not your individual value. It's not like, they're not like your customers and your clients and your partners aren't thinking to them like, I wonder how much value does Melinda provide in my life? No, they're asking how much value does the solution that you provide to my life? So that service, that product, how much value is in that offer? So let me give you an example. Oops. Let's say you're a photographer. I keep using this photographer for a specific reason. So you're a photographer and you created a value-based price for family portraits. And the reason why this family portrait is so valuable is because you understand that it's really hard to get everybody in the same room at the same time. And it's really hard to make sure you capture every single person in a happy state. And it's really hard to make sure that everybody can be committed to this one experience and have a great experience. Right? So there's you start to build that value once you understand what the pains and challenges are of your buyer. All right. So say you understand, let me get that out there. Okay. So say you understand what value provides. So the value to the client plus your income goals minus any other competitive options equals your price. This is how the industry defines value-based price. And to do a high ticket offer, it is the value to the client equals price. It's value to the client and it's divided by 10 equals price. So if you have a business offer and you can help somebody make $150,000 a year in 6 months, starting with 6 months, then you can just $150,000 divided by 10 is $15,000 offer, right? Easy math. But you have justification. You have to have justification. It's not like you're like, oh, well, I'm just going to charge $100,000. I'm just going to charge $1,000. I'm just going to charge $50,000. I'm just going to charge $1,000, right? I'm going to underprice myself so that I can be competitive. And we'll talk about competition, but don't do that. Make sure that it's justified based on something. It's a business. You're not just creating numbers out of thin air. You're creating them based off something that helped you justify the number. And that way you stick to it. You're more likely to stick to it instead of, Okay. Retainers are also some fun stuff. So typical retainers are for 6 to 12 months. In some industries are longer, they're 18, 24 months, depends on the contract. Sometimes there are contracts and they just pay you in a retainer. A lot of different things. What I love about retainers is once you establish a know, like, and trust with somebody, this retainer can be, just large. I had a client that started and this was years ago. I started them at $2,500 a month and they grew to become like a $12,000 client in less than a year, just because the value had shifted. I was helping them achieve so many goals in such a short period of time. And then they understood it and they were just like, oh my gosh, now you're even more valuable because you understand our business, etc. And so it just kind of naturally progressed that way because I created a plan for them and help them go towards that journey. And that's what I love about retainers. You can customize their experience and they get more out of it, which is really cool. The other thing about retainers that I want to emphasize is that you always want to have a contract with anything that you deliver. So if it's a product-based business that you have, your contract is your receipt. But if you're a service-based business owner, you want to have a contract, an agreement that says that you're providing a service for exchange of money. And here are the results that you have already agreed to that you're going to get at the very minimum. Retainers, you want to make sure that you add this. And again, I am not an attorney and I'm not giving any legal advice, but from my experience, adding in a term if they breach their contract, if they want to cancel their agreement, they have to give at least 90 days notice. And also mention that it's automatically renewed. So those two things, 90 days notice in case they want to cancel, automatically renews so that you don't have to worry about the next 6 or 12 months, right? This just rolling them in. Now, of course, you're going to notify them in activation during your activation phase and say, hey, we're getting close to 6 months. Your contract is about to renew. Let us know if you want to discuss the services and see if we need to make modifications. And this might fluctuate. Don't be afraid of this, right? Don't be afraid of this. Step into it and allow the customer to tell you what they need and just deliver it. Just deliver it. Okay. Okay. And then let's see. Then there's competitive based pricing. So really isn't a formula. Competitive based pricing is a race to the bottom. It's like, oh gosh, competitive based pricing. They, in government contracting, depending on the size of the contract, you'll use competitive based pricing a lot to submit on bids. It's never a win-win. It's usually a lose-lose in most scenarios that I find. But it is a very powerful thing because when you know what your competitive-based price is, then you can renegotiate based on the value. And there's always ways to do that with numbers. Always. I love numbers because you can tell a story with numbers. But you just have to know what story to tell and who to tell it to. So competitive based pricing is harder. It's like trying to compete with a ghost, and it never works out. Like it's just so much harder to do. In any scenario that I can think of that I've ever researched competitive based pricing, it's always who is the cheapest. And so those that are the cheapest are never authorities. Like they're never the authority, if that makes sense. Like, I heard Myron Golden say this is, nobody expects you to be if you're the best, nobody expects you to be the cheapest. And if you're the cheapest, nobody expects you to be the best. And that is so true. You don't expect to go to the Dollar Tree or dollar store, or, like a value store and find something that is worth $1 million. It's just not. You're expecting it to last you for a short period of time, and then you'll replace it. There's an expectation. There's a set law of expectation. But if you go somewhere else and you buy like an upgraded, really like fully suited product, like, an earbuds or whatever, you pay a couple $100, you expect that thing to last, right? There's a warranty tied to it. You're like, I'm expecting this to last because I paid for that thing. It's more valuable, right? And so competitive based price doesn't really work that well. When there are sales and clearances and things like that, it's actually not competitive based prices. It's actually businesses trying to, like, if you ever thought to yourself, I'm just going to go to the store when they have a sale. It is a sale to you because you could have paid more for the thing, but realize that the retailer has already paid for the product you're buying, and what you pay them is just profit. And that's what I said. That's what I said. It's true. Fact. All right. So we went through the different pricing models, and you're probably thinking to yourself, okay, how do I create my price? Well, I just gave you the formulas for each one of them. I suggest to have one for each. Have an hourly, have a package, have a competitive, have a value-based price, because this is going to help you understand what you can and you can't do in your business. What's your boundary to making money? Maybe you want to do something for charity. Well, now you know I need to cover these expenses. I need to make at least this in order to have a successful, healthy business, right? So you at least know your numbers. Now, if we work backwards from that, how do we know what our expenses are? Then that's money math. I don't have much time to talk about money math right now. Maybe I'll make a separate video. If I do, I'll put it in the Facebook group. If you haven't joined Legacy Builders yet, this is a good time to do that. So for those that are in Legacy Builders, you're welcome. I'll put a money math training in there. I'm going to write it down so I don't forget. Money math. And so what money math is a training about how do you come up with your expenses? Like how much do you know, how much money, like what's your budget? Like how much money do you need to go out? How much money needs to come in? How do you maintain your budget from month to month? We have templates for that. We have tools for that. We have all of that stuff. But I'll do a quick training for legacy builders in our community. And if you're interested in joining, you can just join. It's really, really simple to do. Okay. So what is one irresistible bonus you can include? This is when you've already done your SWOT analyses. So you've looked at your competitors, you've looked at your customers, your clients, and your partners, and you see, your company, and you see there's this string, this line, these opportunities for you to fill in where they can't solve, right? Where the market has not yet solved. It's unique to you, or maybe it's an improvement. A bonus can be an improvement offer, or it could be the same offer. It's with your taste, your sauce on it. So this is a bonus. A bonus is something that help them boost them towards their achieved goals. So it's like a boost. It's like a little fuel. It'll help them get there faster. What's that bonus, right? That's how you create a bonus. All right, step number 3. And we're probably going to finish up the top of the hour. I'm going to try to finish this up I'm going to do step 3 for the next 12 minutes. And then we're going to talk about metrics and for maybe about 10 minutes. And then we're going to close up. So about 22, 24 minutes, and we're almost done. So excited. All right. So voice. Step 3 is voice. So step 1 was vision. Really knowing what your business plan is, understanding what your transferable skills are, right? We also talked about SMART goals. What is your business idea? What problem does your business solve? What is your mission? What is your origin story? Again, this is all tailoring the business clarity system to startups. If you are not a startup, you can book a call with me. We talk about customizing the system for you. We already have entire plans for you set up. Step 2, vehicle, your offer and your audience. Who is your ideal client? The 37 buyer types, like what to say to them, how to speak to them, what type of audience data that you need from the market so that you can answer the 37 buyer types. And of course, you need to start with yourself. Side tangent, SWOT analyses, what also they do is they give you a lot of confidence. Because when you start seeing these bigger guys not doing the baby steps, you're like, what? I can do that better. So much better. And then you start seeing that things that they do that you do, that's such a confidence booster. So you're going to have so much fun. And then we also talked about your flagship offer and your pricing. Wow, we went through a lot. Okay. And so now step 3 is your voice, your communication plan. So we talked about the consistent cash system. Now you know what messaging to put where, how to do it. And thankfully, we live in today's world where there is automation and AI. So save your life, save so much time. Does not need to take forever to build and grow a successful business. You could do it in days, if not hours. Okay. What is your brand message? So your brand message, I put an example there, is I help target audience achieve benefit without pain point. And you want to make this sexy. You want to make this really sexy. So it's like, what's the thing that's so painful? Again, going back to your SWOT analyses, what's the thing that's so painful, right? What's the weaknesses? What are the threats? This is how you know what your message is, because those are the weaknesses and threats in the marketplace that are or may not be yet solved. Okay. And we want to see, how big is this problem? Is this like a problem across the board? Do we see this everywhere? Oh, this is a big problem, right? So there's more opportunity. Where will you market? Number 2 is, where will you market your offer? This is so important. Years ago, I thought, and I was told by so many of the gurus online, you need to have a Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Clubhouse, like a profile on everything, and you need to be active everywhere. That is such a lie. This is such a lie. One of the biggest lies. And I'll tell you why. Because, and I learned this from big companies. When doing research on bigger companies, I realized that a lot of bigger companies actually aren't on every single platform. They actually don't promote on every single platform. They only promote where their audience is. Oh, okay. This makes sense. And it's usually repurposed content. So they're creating one theme for the month. And we talk about this in Business Clarity on how to create content. But they do one thing for 1 month or 1 quarter, one theme. A theme like this month, we're going to talk about water bottles. This month, we're going to talk about photo exposure. This month, we're going to talk about, positioning, right? Or how to stand in a picture, right? Whatever it is, that theme, and every piece of content is about that theme. It's agitating the problem in awareness. It's talking about alternatives in consideration, right? So it makes it so much easier because now you're creating one piece of content and then you're just repurposing it for different platforms where your audience is. Just where your audience is. How do you find out your audience? You already did it. You did it in SWOT analyses. So this part is super simple. You just get louder on those platforms, and you can get your profile. Like you can get your handles in case something changes in the market. You at least have them, but you don't need to be posting on them as often as you might think. You just want to go where the audience is the loudest. So number 3, what is your first step to share your message? This example is to post an intro story in the group or launch a lead magnet. Yes. How you do the story, I told you. Read Start With Why by Simon Sinek. Write it like a hero's journey. Hero's journey. You can ask ChatGPT or Claude to help you format a template to do that. Your lead magnet is going to be something that they actually want to solve. It's going to be a symptom to the problem that they have, not solution to the problem that they have. All right. And then number 4 is omnipresent messaging. So how to repurpose strategy. What's the repurpose strategy? So this is something that this is actually piloting. I'm building out a different model for omnipresent messaging. Excuse me. I'm building out a new model called omnipresent messaging. And I'm actually piloting this through the Business Clarity programs. But the repurposing strategy is based off this, that if you're speaking to the same audience on different platforms, there's a reason why they're not consuming all content on one platform. So, example, let's say you have a podcast, you're on LinkedIn and Facebook. Well, on Facebook and LinkedIn, they're 2 different places. On LinkedIn, they want to talk about business and maybe a little bit about personal, just to make sure that they actually like who you are. But on Facebook, you're like silly and you're just showing like, you know what I mean? Like you're just kind of like wearing a t-shirt versus a tux, right? And then on podcast, it's really just your personality. It's the pace of your voice. It's the tone. It's your inflections. It's maybe more, depending on your avatar, it could be more educational. Sometimes you'll like in the past, I've had avatars who were listen to podcasts for stories. Like they listen to history. They loved history. So instead of talking about, current events, I talked about history, right? When I had that podcast. So it just depends on your audience and what they're wanting to consume is how you create content for them. So that's the repurposing strategy, is like, how do you take one piece of content and then use it from like create different angles of speaking to the same thing? Booking stages, in-person, virtual, podcasts, and blogs. It's all part of the omnipresent messaging that I'm still building out. So if you would like to be a part of the pilot program for that, you can just book a call and we'll talk and see if you're a good fit for our Business Clarity program. But this is also another opportunity for us to utilize AI to find what stages that you want to be on, how to get on them, and how to do them so that you're selling your message. You're creating a buyer in the room. You're selling your message and converting them into either consideration or to conversion. And the faster you can get to advocacy, the better. Okay. download. So I created a calendar for you in case you wanted just to go ahead and do this yourself. So you can click on the link in the worksheet and download a calendar from Calendly. I think it's a template from Calendly. And this is just 2025 in a calendar form. It's a one sheet. And what I like to do is this actually, remember when there was like uh, an a-thon, like a blood drive or a race-a-thon or a call-a-thon or a TV-a-thon, like when they did all these like call in the next 5 minutes and donate, right? And so I use calendars in the same way. So I like to look at this calendar just with numbers on it, just the date, and I will highlight the days that I have booked events. So in person, virtual, blogs, podcasts, whenever I have a deadline for an event. And the goal for me is to fill my calendar. I mean, within reason, right? We want to look at the business plan to make sure that it aligns. But the goal of the calendar is to fill it up. So I'm looking and I'm like, okay, I have my pink highlighter. I take my pink highlighter out and I have my calendar on the wall. Actually, it's somewhere here. Here it is. And yesterday I put my first pink dot. And so I just put this on the wall. I tape this on the wall and I just highlight the dots. And it actually is, obviously it's going to inform me of what's coming up, but it's also inspiring me too, because it's like, oh yeah, I got to fill that in. And I get excited to share my message out there into the world. And I know what's coming up and what's not. So fill in the gaps and things like that. I have a couple of events that I need to add in there too, just remember to myself. So keeps me accountable too. So step number 4, metrics and next steps. So what does success look like for you? Now we're talking about KPIs, key performance indicators. Key performance indicators. We talked about voice, we talked about vehicle, which is your offer, your pricing, all of that. What's the market going to buy? What's supply? What's in demand, right? And then voice, like how do we go out to the marketplace and talk to them? We talked about the client journey. We talked about heart and head selling. We talked about a lot, right? Covered a lot. But then what? In every single system and business method that I have, I always keep a way to track data. Data is king, not content, data. Data is king. 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 You always want to have KPIs. This is how Amazon is a multiple billion-dollar business today. It's not because they're selling really cool things. It's because they understand how to use their data to leverage and accelerate growth. Now you'd wonder, like, where's Amazon basics come from, right? Like, how does Amazon know that they want to sell t-shirts and shoes and clothes and all these things? They're doing their market research and they're noticing just from their own app. This is stuff you can find, their own app, that people are buying what the people are buying. They're buying in volume. And so they're like, wait a minute, what if we became a competitor on our platform with our buyers, right? With other stores. And this is what they did. This is how Amazon Basics came. This is how they took the investment, because you have to understand, they have to have inventory available to sell 50, 100 t-shirts at a time, right? So it wasn't a gamble. Like they weren't just like, well, let's just spend $100 million and see if anybody buys these things. No, they knew based off the data what people were going to buy. And because they built this authority in the marketplace for their brand name, just to be Amazon, selling someone else's stuff, they created their own product. It's genius. I love Amazon for so many reasons. I love because they invest in marketing. I love because they understand how valuable neuroscience is, the brain science is, and every single data point, every time you make a decision on something, they have cultivated it into an algorithm, into a new journey. And it never ends. It never ends. It's so powerful. So data is key. It's the most powerful thing that you'll ever have and the most powerful asset that you could ever create. So when you're creating content, when you're having people buy from you, when you're having partners want to sell to you, for you, when you're getting people to show up to your events, when you're going to speaking events, every single marker, every single thing is a data point. Every single one. It's like, oh, well, March, it was our largest year, our largest month all year. I wonder what's going on then, right? How powerful is that? How powerful is to know that out of 12 months, you're the busiest in 6 of them, right? And they stagger, and the largest month out of the entire year is March. How powerful is that? Now you can plan ahead the next year, and the next year, and the next year, and the next year, and know, okay, well, in the other months that are not performing, I need to do more because these tactics and strategies are not working during that season. I need to try something different. And when it is working, I need to keep doing that, and I do need to do that more. Now it's easier to build your business because now you're just looking at data, and you being more of a scientist than an emotional buyer, being a business owner, being a CEO, and thinking like that, opposed to, well, is this working? Is this not working? I'm not sure. Like, let's just forget the whole thing and start all over again. No, you just need to tweak a little bit, tiny little bit, itty bitty, and make it work and turn it on all the way. So fun. Oh my gosh, this is so cool. Data is so powerful. I can go on and on about data. I get so excited about data because data is so powerful. It's how a startup can be a multiple 6-figure business in just a matter of months. This is like literally how it happens. It's looking at what your data is saying, what is working in the marketplace, looking at your SWOT analyses, looking at what your business plans are. What is your revenue goals? What are your goals for client your client lifetime value, just all these different KPIs, and you start seeing clearly what you need to like pull as a lever to get more out of what you're already doing. It's like not adding anything new. It's just doing it more. It's getting louder. It's increasing the volume on a song that's already playing. Whew. All right. So the last question is, what is your first action step after this masterclass? What's your first action step? Comment below, even if you're watching the replay, comment below live. I don't mind. And the reason why I'm saying this is don't take all this information and just be like, I'm just going to sit on it. I don't really know, Melinda. I'm stuck in step 1. At the very least, do your SWOT analyses. At the very least, write down what your vision, your mission is. At the very least, write down your story. Those are all things that you have immediate access to. It doesn't take time to do those things. You can fill in the gaps as you go. You see, everybody's journey is different. You might have a majority of step 1 done. You might have a majority of step 3 done, right? And we just need to go back and reverse engineer step 1 and 2. But at the end of the day, we just want to make sure that every single step is completed to the T. All right. So in the worksheet, there is a link to book a consultation with me. And this is so important, so important, because I don't want you to feel stuck. So if you feel like, well, this is really information, Melinda, I'm going to take action on this, take action. And if you pause after the video ends, if the live stream ends, and you feel yourself, you know what? I'm going to need help. I want you to click the link. I want you to book a call. It's completely free consultation. And I want us to talk about your business. Like, what do you need to do to get to the next step of accomplishing your goal? Because that's why I'm here. That's why I spent 2 hours and 33 minutes and 37 seconds with you today, because I want you to get there. Not just for the money, it's for the release of freedom. It's to feel like you can finally control how much money you make, opposed to just getting by. Using that word just all the time. If I just had enough, if I just could do this, if I just could do that. No, let's just dream bigger. Let's try to obtain things that are much bigger than ourselves. Let's try to make impact in the communities. Let's try to leave a legacy for people to come. Let's try to have generational wealth so our kids can have, and they can avoid all of the mess that we had to experience to get to where we are right now. So that is going to be what we're focused on. And that's going to drive us forward. That's going to help us get and accomplish our goals. That's going to get us to $1 million, $100 million, $1 billion. Oh my gosh, there's so much to share with that. But this is foundational. This is the step that I am imploring you to take right now, because the information that's in your brain right now, the experiences that you have, are exactly what someone else needs right now. And the longer you take to get there, you're just making someone else delay their transformation because you choose to take longer. And I don't want that to happen. I don't think you want that to happen either. I am so grateful for you, Sharice. I'm grateful for Ryan. I'm grateful for many of you that watch live on YouTube. I see people are watching on live as you as well. And I just wanted to bless you with this information. I hope that it gives you clarity. Binge watch this during the holidays, write down your notes, take action, get it done, and then comment. Let me know in the Facebook group or on YouTube. Let me know where you're at. Let's just continue this conversation. Let's just not stop here. If you're ready to take action into the next step, click the link in your worksheet, click the link in the description to book a call with me, and we'll talk through what we can do to get you to your destination as quickly as possible. Take care. God bless you all. Love you. See you next time.